And we're live! Hello! Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, everyone who is here joining us today for this first session of the Fall of Magic. Woo!
We've been talking about this for a long time.
Oh my god. Fucking...
What?
Uoga chaka, uoga chaka, I can't stop this feeling deep inside of
Dustin
me.
put an
Jess,
entire
you just
song
don't
in his
realize
sub,
how
so
much
it's
I
gonna
love
take a
your
second.
streams. When you play games in your channel, you make us all just feel so swell. I'm hooked on the Jess
I
stream.
can't hear it.
It's pretty good. That was really good. Wow, Dustin. There was like, even the robot rhyme did a little bit. Even in a robot voice, that was a pretty good song. Bravo, Dustin, bravo. 10 out of 10. Good job. Thank you so much for those 23 months, you goon. I love you. Thank you for being here, you goofus. Now, Dustin, if it's okay with you, we're going to start our game.
Yeah, Dustin, we're trying to do something here, buddy.
I think this is the shenanigans he was suggesting he was going to do. And he did them. You did it. You got us. You got us. Good job.
Got it.
But
I'll have to go back and listen because I have the stream muted.
it was pretty good. Thank you, Dustin. Thank you, everyone who's here. Hello, welcome. Fall of Magic time. I'm Jess. This is my channel. You probably know me. If you don't, what the heck? Hi. Let's go say hi to all the cool people playing today. Hi, Kit.
That's it, huh?
Hi.
That's all you got?
Hi.
I need.
You can find me over on my channel and on Twitter at Kit Battlebeard.
Perfect. Thank you. It was really good. Hi, Katy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Jack?
Good.
My name is Katy, and you can't really find me anywhere because I'm a teacher, and if you can find me, the kids can find me. So I'm a mystery.
That makes it sound like they're stalking you, you know, like...
They do a little.
The kids are like, if you're not careful and you don't lock your windows, they'll be climbing in and like...
Just like, whoa.
That's kids. Kids
the
for
kid
you.
starts coming in from the top of the screen.
Yeah.
That would be terrifying. I would actually be like, I understand why you are such a mystery now. Skipping past me. Hi, Jordan.
What? It's my turn now?
It's your turn right now. I warned you about this.
I'm Jordan. I am on Twitter. I was on Twitter a lot today, just saying stuff to people. At Made of Cartoons, and you see me around here a little bit these days. So I don't have my own Twitch, but I'm sometimes in the chat as Made of Cartoons as well.
Cool.
That's me. And we're gonna play Fall of Magic.
Cool beans. Yes, we are. We're gonna play Fall of Magic, and Jordan, you're facilitating. So, what do you want to tell us about? What do you want to tell us today?
Well, Fall of Magic is a very beautiful, very kind of sweet. Oh, here's Frankie.
She was pretty sure you were describing her just then.
Yeah, no,
She's
there's
like,
her
oh,
butt.
Perfect.
So it's a storytelling game. Not quite a, well, yeah, it's a role-playing game. It's a storytelling game. It's prompt-based. We'll be taking turns choosing prompts and setting up scenes. Very few mechanics. It's all storytelling. And in fact, this little strip here is all we need to look at to do our character creation. I'm sorry, Kat, but you cannot hang out with me right now. So, the game is called Fall of Magic, and the only little piece of story that we get as we play is magic is dying, and the magus is dying with it. We travel together to the realm of Umbra, where magic was born. This is the only information the game gives us before we start on our journey. It plays out on this long scroll that we kind of travel along that has this winding path and all these different locations, different prompts. They're hidden currently from everyone but me behind the fog of war that is Roll20, but I will be unfurling it as we play so that you can see the real version in real life is amazing. And if you can get yourself a copy, it's just a cool thing to have on your shelf, and people will think that you're cool if you have it. That's just a fact. So character creation is very simple. As you can see, it says choose your name and then choose your title. And that's all you do. That's your character now. So I don't know what order we want to do things in. I have one in mind for myself, but I don't want to pick first. So unless
don't need to pick first.
I think Jess should pick first. It's her channel.
Sure. Okay, so Katie called me out for this before, and I just want to say the first time I played this game, I did not pick Fawn. I did not. But
show some restraint.
It's true.
This time, I'm going to play Fawn.
Well, it's being broadcast, so it's got to be on brand, right?
Yeah. Do I get to choose a token too?
Yeah, actually, let me know that, and I will assign it to you. Oh my God.
Can I has tree token?
Yes, and what is your title?
I want to be Fawn the... Fawn the... I probably should have looked at this a little closer. Fawn the... midwife of Barleytown.
The midwife of Barleytown. All right, if you got a little notebook or something you want to write that down. Do you want the full tree or the tree with no leaves?
I'd like the full tree, please.
Okay. I think you can control it now.
I will attempt that in a second once I have found my notebook, which I cannot.
God. Cat. All right.
Who's next?
I'll go next, I guess.
Do it.
I was gonna go. I wanted to be the hero of Barleytown.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you still want it? Can you?
We can both be from Barleytown.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna do hero of Barleytown. I have an idea in mind. Oh, and I'm gonna be Vago.
Vago?
Vago, the hero of Barleytown.
What's your token gonna be?
I think I'm gonna go. I'll go with the sword. It's obvious, but I'm gonna go with it.
The broken one or the happy sunshine one?
The happy sunshine one.
Okay.
And we can change these images if we think that our characters have changed.
Sunshine sword.
Happy sunshine sword. All right, who's next?
Kit, what do you want to do? You want me next?
Sure. Unsurprisingly, I'm gonna be Caspian,
Okay,
the Fox of Mistwood.
And now this game does not give us information as to what the fox is or what they say, but we make that up kind of as we play. So it could be a title, you can actually be a fox, you could be a fox person. You can decide that as we do the prompts. And what symbol would you like there, Foxy?
I think I'm gonna go with the. Is that a crow?
Oh crap! I was gonna be the raven, and I was gonna use the raven because that would
You know
be,
what?
like thematic for the viewers. They could.
You can take that, and I will actually take the lit candle then.
Ooh.
The lit candle. All right.
Yeah.
I'm assigning. As the kids, as the youth.
If the kids were watching, they would be judging me for being lame.
But they're not invited, so...
They're not.
They think you were cool because you used their lingo, right? That's how it works.
No, when adults use the lingo, you're just lame. You're supposed to not use the lingo so that you don't look stupid.
I see. Well,
I've learned this. Yeah.
Nothing has ever stopped me from looking stupid, so. All right, Katie, you're the only person left. I hear that you wanted to be the Raven of something, so.
Yeah, I think I'll be River, the Raven of Ravenhall, because
there's a mouthful.
alliteration is fantastic.
And I will assign to you this Boyd.
And a Boyd, yes, I want it to be the Boyd.
The Boyd is yours.
Thank you.
Can you guys move your tokens around? Okay, perfect.
Yes,
It's working. It's working.
What do I do with these colors? Ooh.
Oh yeah, you're gonna see a bunch of stuff. I don't know how to switch that off right now.
Mechanics.
Okay.
Really sorry in advance. You're gonna see a bunch of stuff.
Oh, I killed myself by accident for a second.
You what?
Look, I'm dead.
Oh no.
I'm dead.
Well, game's over, guys.
Okay. So are we all ready to start the game? Oh, we have one last thing to do. So we are leading the Magus, whoever they may be, from the start of the map all the way to the realm of Umbra. We have to choose a token for our boy the Magus, or our friend the Magus. He could be anybody. They could be anybody.
This is not going well for you.
You know what I mean. So what symbol do we want for the Magus? The one that we didn't take is the oceany one, the boat one, but we could pick any of them.
Let's ocean him. What do you guys think? I think he could be.
Yeah, let's do it.
The rocky waves, is that what I'm looking at here? Yeah,
I thought it was mountains. Is it waves? I'm like,
I thought it was water.
I'm doing a zoom in right now. No, you're right. It's absolutely water because there's like seagull type birds.
It's this one, and I will make it controlled by all players. So anyone can move it, and that's important for later.
Ah, yeah.
Hey, get back here. All right. Magus is on the move. All right, I'm going to unfurl the first coil of the map here, and then we're going to get started. Clicking on buttons, doing some stuff, and oh boy, is this gonna work?
Ah, yeah. There.
Fog of War has lifted, and we can take the Magus and move them to Ravenhall, because that's where we're starting. So, at the beginning, we're going to just start taking turns in order. Actually, we could probably go in any order that we want, as long as no one's taking like multiple turns before other people have taken multiple turns. And on your turn, you just take your token and you move it to one of the prompts, and you start a scene that's inspired by that prompt. If you have already taken your turn, so everyone has to take at least one turn in every area, and after you have taken your first turn, you can choose to move to a different prompt and take another turn there, or you can pick up the Magus and start the journey down the next leg to the next area. If you choose to do that, you do the prompt for the overall prompt for the area. So Oak Hills has its own prompt here, and you will do a scene from the point of view of the Magus. So basically, we're all taking turns playing this person that we're following around the map. So don't be afraid to move us along when you feel ready. But again, we all have to do at least one prompt in each area, and then we can start moving. So how do we want to decide who goes first? Do we want to do a random roll or something?
Do you want to do a dice roll, or?
Yeah.
I could roll a d4 and determine us that way. Okay, I'm going by what is on the screen on Twitch that everyone sees. So Kit, you are 1, Katie, you are 2, I am number 3, and Jordan, you are number 4. And
that's number.
I wish I could.
#2.
Oops, I might have clicked it twice. It's 4. 4, so Jordan.
Okay. Alrighty. I was making a joke into the chat about.
I saw it. It's pretty good.
Okay.
It's like
it's not great, but they'll get better. Okay.
It's like a 6 out of 10.
Thanks. That's a passing grade. I'm going to go to the bridge. So the prompt here on the bridge is your face in the river. So basically what I love about this game is that the flow of the game is such that as we move through places, we learn more about each other. And then as we move along the map, we learn why we're traveling. So we didn't set up anything before with this game. The story itself unfolds, and the feel of it and everything is all up to us. So these early prompts definitely set up like why we're going on this journey. So the prompt is the bridge, your face in the river. So Ravenhall is a noble house, and it has been around for many, many, many centuries. And Vago, me, has come up from Barley Town by summons of the Magus, and there's like it's kind of like a lazy river. It's not quite a moat, but it's like a lazy river that goes around Ravenhall, and there's a bridge that you have to cross over in order to get. And Vago looks down into the river. If you were to talk to Vago over a long distance, if phones existed and you could talk to him over the phone, you would think, this is a young, vibrant person, full of life. You know, this person is just starting their journey. But if you were to see Vago in real life, you see kind of a middle-aged family man. He's a little bit like what was John Goodman's character in The Emperor's New Groove? His name, but that kind of thing. Pacha, yeah, he's kind of that kind of shape, you know, strong but not like buff, and just he's lived a full and a full life, and so has his belly, you know. But I'm currently just standing on the bridge, looking at my face in the river, and I'm thinking, why me? I mean, I did that thing. I helped out a few years back, but why would he call on me? I'm gonna drag somebody into the scene with me. So I'm gonna say, actually, the Raven of Ravenhall, River. You're probably already here since, you know, maybe you live here or something. So maybe you come across me. Maybe I've been standing out on the bridge a long time and you're wondering why I haven't moved closer towards the castle, something like that.
I'm going to throw it out there that possibly you have tripped and fallen, and your face has landed directly in my skirts, and your face is now in the river.
Oh, well, that's a twist on it.
And I am just sitting casually on a bench aside a path, and when this happens, you see that it barely phases me, and you notice that River doesn't really seem to be like a quick, agile kind of person. She's very statuesque and still, and not quick to react to anything. Whether that makes her particularly intelligent or not, we have yet to find out.
Well, obviously, I'd be quite embarrassed, and I would sort of fall back onto my butt and scoot back a little bit if I tripped forward, and I say, I'm sorry, miss, I didn't see you there. I'm lost in my thoughts, obviously. I didn't get any dirt on your outfit or anything, did I?
There's so much dirt on my outfit already, I hardly would have noticed.
I reach up and touch my face, and yeah, my face is dirtier than it started, and I'm like,
would you like a handkerchief? And I hand you a very black, sooty, dusty handkerchief.
Nope, it's fine. And I pull my tunic up, and you can see a little bit of my like paunch, and I like wipe the crap off of my face. And then I realize that I'm near water, and I go over and I splash some water in my face, and I say, what's your name?
Ironically, River.
It's a good name.
What's your name?
Oh, I'm just Vago. I came up from Barley Town because the...
Barley Town.
Hey, that's my hometown, miss.
Absolutely. It is. I can tell.
I will take that as a compliment. I start, after that, I was going to walk with you, but after that I say, I'll see you inside, maybe. And I start heading up towards Ravenhall. And I think that's going to be my scene. So I will draw attention to the rose gardens here, because that's something that people do, is draw attention to the rose gardens. But you'll see that there's 3 little notes under here with little pluses beside them. So instead of a prompt, what you do with this is you start a little scene that uses one of these, and then you give it to somebody. You can give it to yourself, you can assign it to one of the other players, but if you want you can start a story about why one of us is legendary or fierce or beautiful or what have you. So that's what this one means. So whoever takes this one is going to be kind of assigning a little flavor to somebody. And these are things that you might be able to lose or that you can roll into your character as you go. Now that whoever is taking the next turn, I'm just explaining that.
Should we go in order? Like, now we go back up to the top?
Yeah, that's what I figure. We'll continue in that order. So, Kit, would you want to go next?
Sure. I'm gonna go to the scrying pool. I look over this pool. Whiskers flickering, nose sniffing, dropping a pebble in as mist swirls about, and this lithe man appears looking in. Wondering what the Magus has in store for this journey. Unlike the other journeys, I feel like this might be the last. I don't know what I can get for him. I'm not sure what a servant like me could do. Not sure if I could help him work any great feats of magic. For this seems to be his death walk. It is a fearful task to do. That's all that he does.
Okay.
Much drama.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Who's next?
I think it's me, isn't it? Okay.
Yes.
So, after my encounter with Vago, which River found to be particular... Are we referring to ourselves as, like, me, I, or as, like, they, the character?
I slip between first and third person all the time, so I don't think it matters that much.
Cool. So I'll probably do mostly first person or I'll get confused. So I get up and brush off copious amounts of soot from what appears to originally have been a beautiful gown, but is now just absolutely destroyed. And I make my way along the path over to the rose gardens. And I will do that on the thing. Here I am, over here. And as I'm wandering through the rose gardens, I stop at the white roses. And as I'm pulling one of them off of the bush, I look around and wonder if I see anyone nearby who might step out into the garden. No requirements, totally open-ended. If no one appears, I will continue.
I think Fawn might be coming over to check out the gardens, check out the roses.
Okay, so I look around and I see
So
Fawn. And I'm holding this white rose, and I don't recognize her, but what I do see from afar is that, unlike River, Fawn appears to be particularly beautiful. So without saying anything, she goes over to Fawn, hands her the white rose, and says, "I hope to see you again soon," and turns and walks away towards Castle Ravenhall. Like a creep. Just kidding.
That's a very unique interaction.
And now you have the title thingy. Is that what they're called, Jordan?
I can't remember what they're officially called, but yeah.
A little descriptor.
Yeah.
Added to you.
Yeah, I'm adding it right now. I'm reading a little note.
At least you didn't give her a milady or anything as you handed the flower over, so you weren't too creepy.
No.
Yeah, it wasn't creepy. It was slightly unusual, but I don't think it is.
It feels like these initial meetings are like kind of forced. So it's like, do you make it weird or do you make it like
You just go for it, right?
Like, I don't know, made it weird, but that's okay.
Perfect. I love it.
So now we're on to Jess, I think, right?
Yeah.
So I will just say, I'm going to sort of unveil little rules as we go. You can go to a prompt that someone else has done before. There's no requirement that we do all the prompts in a place. And so just as a reminder of that for everyone, you can hop to the same thing. If you have a story you want to tell that meets the prompt, then go for it.
Yeah, so I think that Fawn is going to take this rose and like take a second and like crinkle her nose and be a little bit confused about what just happened. But I think she's gonna take it and she's gonna smell it, and then she's going to very slowly and calmly walk over to the scrying pool. Is Caspian still there?
It would be, yeah.
I think maybe Fawn walks over to the scrying pool, like kind of not paying too much attention to her surrounding at first, but then noticing that Caspian is there and chuckling to herself, and then walking over to Caspian and being like, well, someone just handed me this, so now I'm gonna give it to you. It's just a nice little rose from the gardens over there, and it's coming over to the pool because it reminds me of how the Magus has helped me. Are you reflecting on something similar?
Why, yes, and thank you. By what means has he helped you?
Well, there was a time where the people in my area became suspicious of magics, and sometimes even just helping without much magics seems suspicious to people who know no better. And the Magus helped to soften any fears of magic. His magic has always been his. Have we selected anything for the Magus yet? I don't think we have.
Nope.
No.
Their magic has always. The people have always been more accepting of their magic, and it helped to calm the people's senses. What about yourself?
They gave me this body. He looks down at his green tunicked torso. I help him errands he needs. So it's I see things he doesn't say. I hear things. And, well, as a reward, he gave me what you see. Though I understand what you mean when you say their magic helps soften the eyes of those around you.
Well, you seem like a useful person to have around, so I see why the Magus might want to have you here.
I bow to Fawn.
I'm Fawn, by the way.
You may call me Caspian.
It's nice to meet you, Caspian.
A pleasure.
I think that's it. I think that's the scene.
Sounds good to me. So does that mean it's back to me again?
It's your turn. What you gonna do?
So I could move to the Oak Hills with I could start the Magus's first steps, but I'm gonna let one of you take that, I think, and I'm going to move my chunky friend Vago over to the menagerie here. So I think, I mean, you and I are both from Barley Town, Fawn, so I imagine I may know of you.
Mm-hmm. I think you're literally the hero of Barley Town, aren't you? So I feel like I definitely know you.
The name is not something that I like to. I don't encourage people to use it. Vago is fine, but we've taken our first steps into the castle, and I kind of walk up beside you, and big kind of John Goodman arm just kind of nudges you gently and say, what do you think about this, huh, kid?
So we're over in the menagerie?
Yeah, and the menagerie is it's all of these glass containers that have various artifacts and scrolls and things just sort of floating in them.
Ooh.
And there's dozens of them, and none of them make any sense to me. I mean, if there was like a shovel floating in one of these, or pile of dirt, I'd have a better idea. But this is beyond me.
You do always speak down of yourself, Vago. That's.
I know what I like, and what I like is simple. After what happened, the Magus did come. I think this was before your time. 30 years ago. Pretty much to this day, actually. The Magus saw fit to come down and help me. I got very injured in the fray. And though I managed to solve the problem, I was on death's door myself. But then the Magus descended, and they whispered something in my ear. And I woke up 3 days later, fit as a fiddle. Anyway, that's the closest I've been to that type of stuff. And I'm grateful for it. But I just look at all this power, all this potential, and it just worries me.
Your only experience with magic is of it helping you, and yet you're still suspicious of it?
I trust it in the hands of the Magus, but they're leaving. I think that's why we're here. And I think all I can think about is who's taking over after he's gone. They're gone. Who's taking over all of this stuff? Books are great. Knowledge is important, 100%. But in the wrong hands, that's what I'm worried about.
just because things exist doesn't mean they need to be owned. They can be allowed to just be. And I think she reaches over and, like, where you, like, face planted previously, there's still, like, a scratch on your face, and I think she puts a hand on your face and you feel a little bit of warmth, and when she takes it away, you had, like, a little cut and it's gone now. Don't assume. You don't need to be suspicious of anyone aside from the Magus using magic. You don't need to assume that it won't be used for good, and maybe don't, whether you like it or not, simple as you might claim yourself to be, back home, you are a hero. And the people don't need to hear fear of magic from their hero.
Well, I'll think about that. But this one, and I gesture one of the glass chambers, is like, this one's literally shooting lightning bolts everywhere. So...
The sky does that all the time, and you don't get mad at the sky.
Yeah, but this... No one's pointing the sky at me. Anyway, I don't want to keep them waiting. So, age before beauty. And I nudge you one more time on the shoulder and start walking in towards wherever the Magus is. And that's my scene.
You brat.
I'm age, by the way. You're beauty.
Apparently, that's not. That's not what I was imagining, but I guess it is now.
Sorry.
No, it's hilarious. I like it. I like these, like, tags, and that you can, like, be like, haha, now you're this.
The game is inherently cooperative. We are working together to tell the story, so.
It's way more fun and less arrogant to be like, no, you're the pretty one.
Yeah. All right, who's up next?
Kid's turn.
Yeah. So, do I move the Magus?
As long as you've already taken a turn, you can be the person to move the Magus. You can do another prompt here, or you can get us going. If you do move the Magus, you'll move them to the Oak Hills.
Okay.
And then you'll do from the point of view of the Magus. And this is what I like doing is each person kind of adds something to who the Magus is every time they take the turn of the Magus. So you can lay down the groundwork of exactly who this person is.
A gender identity would be great.
Oh,
I mean, they could identify with multiple.
Absolutely. I just would love to nail it down so we know.
I'm gonna keep using they them.
It's gonna, but
I almost like the idea that they use all pronouns. I feel like sometimes they talk about themselves and they're like we us.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I feel like they really mix it up. It's just a grab bag.
Maybe they have like many different selves within themselves. Okay, sorry kid, I'm stealing your scene. Run with it.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll let you do it.
Oof.
So you're gonna do a different prompt there, Kit?
I am going to go to the Rose Garden.
Oh, you got me.
Where I see Vago admiring the rose.
They need a pruning.
Do they? Or does nature just be?
It's good for them to prune them.
And who says this?
Experience. Sorry, who am I talking to?
You may call me Caspian. And you?
And sorry, Kit, you are a fox person?
I don't look like a fox.
Okay.
No.
You look humanoid?
I look like a human.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Vago. A simple farmer from Barley Town called up to, I don't know, fulfill, I guess, a civil duty in a way.
Ah, the legendary Vago, so I hear.
Vago's a pretty common name in Barley Town, so there might be a legendary Vago down there, but nope.
My master would not call any simple farmer for a task he sets forth on. They set forth on.
I think that's exactly what he would do, Caspian. They would do, sorry.
I'll pull a rose off. A nice yellow rose. But were it such a simple task, a simple man could do it. I have stared into a scrying pool and know what's to come. And a simple task this is not. And I'll hand you, Vago, this yellow rose, and walk away.
Thank you, I guess. Vago doesn't know what a scrying pool is, so he's very confused as exactly what this person has just said to him.
Aww.
Are you giving me the legendary?
Yes, I'm giving you legendary.
Ugh.
I feel like Vago hates it and I love it.
He's trying to leave things behind. All right. Thank you, Kit. So now, Jess.
No, Katy.
Mm-hmm.
Kit did this to me.
I did.
All right. So, as River is walking up the path, she also plucks the thorniest red rose she can find and carries it with her up into the castle, where she pays no regard for guards or serving people or anything else, as if perhaps she lived there. And she walks into the Magus's receiving room. I don't know if he has a throne room. We'll say a receiving room, where he then mystically becomes she, and before her eyes flickers from she to them to back to forth, and as fast as she can blink, the Magus is changing forms, and River realizes that perhaps sustaining themselves for this long has caused some kind of illness, and you can see the exhaustion on the face of the Magus, even as it's constantly changing. And it appears that the magic that was giving them life and personality and sustaining their forms is slowly taking over. And River looks at the Magus almost with disdain and disgust, and doesn't make eye contact, and says, "It appears that the other three have arrived. So, whenever you are ready, we can head out. And I will take the little Magus coin and move him over, him, her, them, they, all of them, over to the Oak Hills." And as they are coming out the front doors of the castle, The Magus, supported by 2 servants, walking towards a carriage where they will spend most of the initial portion of this journey due to their frailty. River takes a horse, black as coal, climbs up and scans the area, looking for the 3 others that she knows the Magus has summoned for this journey. We go. You're all here. Consent.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I don't want to take you on this journey until you're ready. Okay, so.
Vago is walking along. I imagine that the wagon's not going super fast, and so Vago's walking alongside. He's got a kind of a lumbering stride. Guess we're going.
There is a fox walking beside it.
It will be slow going. The Magus is very ill, and they cannot travel quickly, so prepare your patience.
That's fine. You know, this weather's not gonna be around much longer, so I'm happy to soak it in for a little longer.
We're all here to help them on this journey and keep them. I'd rather we be at a pace that is comfortable for them.
Agreed.
Yes. You hear from a fox.
And slowly, the carriage and the ragtag group of beings makes its way across the rose gardens, past all the flowers, and over into the Oak Hills, which I imagine are hills with oak trees on them. Only because that was the extent of my imagination. That's what this little picture's of. So, as we arrive at the Oak Hills, you can see that perched in the top of the trees is a flock. Are they a flock? I know crows are a nightmare. No, crows are a murder. Ravens are a nightmare? A group.
I think most birds in a group can be a flock.
A flock of ravens perched in the top of the oak trees, and as the carriage approaches and the sounds of the group talking disturbs them, and they rise and they take flight, migrating south for the fall.
It's a conspiracy of ravens. I just remembered.
Oh,
What?
thank you.
Yeah, it's so good. The
That
conspiracy.
is such a good name.
And they begin to migrate, and you see that the leaves of the oak trees are turning amber and bronze and red, and as the sun sets, it looks like the whole hill is on fire. And that's where I'll pass my turn.
But is it actually on fire?
You can decide.
Hopefully not. That would be bad.
Yeah, that's a different story. Thank you, River, for getting us onto the road. So now I think it's Jess.
It is my turn.
So we've moved on to a new location, and now you're gonna pick prompts from here.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I have it all zoomed in. Trying to decide. Sorry, I'm the worst. Like, part of me is like, ooh, do I want to do some like story stuff, or do I want to like mess with someone?
Someone always mess with someone.
I know, right?
Even if it's me, but hopefully not.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Oh, how do I want to do this? Who do I want to? There's like an obvious one here. There's an obvious one. So I think.
Running like a fox.
Yep. That's the super obvious one that I was like, So yeah, I think that, as you described, we're all going fairly slowly through these hills. Like, there's a pretty like well kept path through the hills, but we're taking it slow because this is the beginning of the journey. Like you said, the Magus is kind of frail at this point. So we're taking our time, I think. And after the first day, we actually have not made it far. And I think we are making camp. And I think Fawn does check in on the Magus a little bit. I do think she is here at least partially for her help and care and stuff that she do. But I think she notices Caspian kind of like on the edges, and I think she stops what she's doing at one point and makes her way over to Caspian, and gets like close but doesn't touch him, and says, I can't help but notice every time I look around, you seem to be in a different place. You seem to be moving and on the fringes and aware. And once again, when we first spoke, you spoke of, you know, the great gift the Magus had given to you, but you seem quite cunning yourself. I wonder where you... That certainly doesn't seem to have been a gift of the Magus. That seems to be something of your own.
A fox must always be on the move, and must always be prepared for what's to come.
That seems like the safest way to be a fox, that's for sure.
We must, though we may be predators in our own rights, there are many a human that would do us harm. And we must look out for that.
I think it's good to be aware. You seem very perceptive and cunning, like I said.
Well, thank you.
I can't help but wonder. Do you consider the Magus's gift a good gift?
I do not consider it a bad gift. It allows me to repay him. But it does take me away from my family.
That can be really hard. I am happy you're here with all your skills and knowledge, but I hope you get to go back to your family.
I do as well. But a journey like this cannot be rushed. And will take as long as it needs.
I think you're right. That's the scene! And now we need to get Katy a title, because she's the only one without one.
Aren't you assigning one right now? Is that the...
No, she's giving Kit the cunning.
Oh, okay.
I gave
Sorry.
Kit cunning. Because it needed to happen.
Vago, being the kind of barbecue dad that he is, short of the farming life, he really loves keeping a good fire going. And so immediately hops on that job and makes sure that the whole time that we're out in these hills, the fire is hot, burning high. And he's sitting on like some logs, some impromptu kind of benches that he drags some logs over and for everyone. And he's poking at the fire. And across from him is River. So, do you do a lot of camping up in Ravenhall, or?
No, I've, in fact, never left the castle.
Well, the hills are pretty tame compared to what we might be coming up against.
There are bigger trees.
There's bigger everything. If we happen to find our way to the Mistwood, then you might see some interesting stuff in the woods. I think you should stick by me, at least until you start to get comfortable on the road.
Are you asking for my protection?
No, although I will accept it should the need arise. I guess what I'm saying is we should all really be sticking together. Magus is strong, but they aren't like they used to be.
None of us are like we used to be. Is there something you wanted from me?
Well, I wanted some conversation, but if that's not something you're up for right now, I understand. And I have a little satchel kind of thing, and I pull this little bundle of cloth out, and I start unfolding it. And it's a fairly strong smelling kind of goat cheese that, well, maybe not. No, it's a really old stinky cheddar. And I unfold this, and there's a few kind of like, they've been jostled around in my bag, so little broken crackers and stuff, but there's like a little bit of what's left of a plate. And I say, the wife packed this up for me. I'm amazed I managed to keep it all the way up to Ravenhall and still have a little left to the way home. But
yes, a mighty task for a mighty hero.
I just like to eat a lot. That's what I was getting at. And this stuff's real good. This is the best. This is Barleytown cheese. You're not going to find anything like that on the road. Do you want some?
Certainly never smelt anything like it.
Yeah, but it tastes even better.
She takes the cheese from your hand as if to eat it, then throws it in the dirt, turns her back on you, and says, I think that will be enough conversation from the wannabe legendary hero.
Oh!
Ooh, guys, normally I play the nicest characters. This is so hard. Normally I want to be friends with everyone.
You know you made these decisions, Katy.
They can want to fly and they feel bad.
Jordan,
I love it.
Jordan, did you fall into the firelight? Because you got burned, bud. Oh my god.
Oh, it hurts me. Ooh.
I don't know. I love it.
I love it too.
I like can't keep a straight face. I just want to like Luna Bell it up and be like, let's be friends.
I've got a dumbfounded look on my face, and I go over and I grab the little piece of cheese that you threw into the dirt, and I blow some of the dirt off of it, and then I just sit it down on the log beside me, and I say, "Well, I'm sure some animal will appreciate this more than you do."
There is at least one animal among us. I just feel...
Are we talking again? Raven of Ravenhall.
Ah, my mistake.
I'm here for the Magus. I'm not here to be friends with you. So, I get it. Lying in the sand, I'm on my side, and you're on yours. I just thought I'd share a little... Never mind.
Slowly, the smoke from the fire starts swirling, and a sound like an owl or some kind of sad, dying creature drifts up from the smoke, curls its way around Vago's head and into his ears, and says, "There is some magic you should be afraid of." And River gets up, turns around, and says, "It is good that first you asked for my protection, for I will grant it." And then walks over to the carriage of the Magus to stand just leaning on the carriage, looking out at the hills.
So
I say, as you leave, I'm sitting by the fire by myself, and I say out loud to no one, "Well, hun, she's a real piece of work, huh?"
Cute. Oh, good one. That's me saying that, not really.
Yeah. And that's my scene, my friendly little scene.
Sorry.
It's all right.
I feel like we've got Glenda and we've got Elphaba.
Elphaba was quite cheerful for a long time. Everyone just rejected her. Poor Elphaba. She just wanted to be friends. Glinda was a nasty brat.
I mean, this is like during the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
We're not talking Wicked.
No.
All right. I guess I don't know if I'm like the cowardly lion after he got courage or something, but
Yeah.
I don't know where I fit into this situation. But...
Aw.
All right. Who's next?
That was your turn because you did Firelight, so it's Kit's turn.
So I guess it's me. I will do At Dawn. Morning ritual. Boy. The morning ritual. And River. Is River still standing and leaning against the Master Magus's carriage?
Night has gone by. She's probably sleeping nearby.
Very well. I crawl out from under the carriage and would commence chasing mice around and would pounce and catch one right by River's head. Good morning, River. Time to wake up.
River only her eyes open quickly, but the rest of her body is just as still as if it were dead. And as her eyes open quite sharply, she turns to look at you. Are you fox form?
I'm as a fox, yes.
Perfect. Um, she looks at you and says, "It is good to see that you are so independent."
It is why I'm here. Can't all rely on the Magus, who know they are not well.
That is true. They are not well at all. I never expected that he would choose you for this journey, but I am glad that he did.
I am his most humble servant.
Certainly the most humble. More so than the rest of us.
Why, yes, the rest of you. I glare and run off.
Silly little fox.
And that's where I'll end that.
Do we all wake up dead? I feel like you're gonna do a murder on each one of us.
He didn't do a murder. He just did a murder next to me.
No, I'm talking about you.
Uh-oh. I don't know.
You creep me out.
It's fun being creepy.
Mm.
It's fun being cheerful. So I'm like really torn right now. Anyway, is it my turn? Ooh, it's my turn, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't ready at all. I was really enjoying being a part of everyone else's scenes. Okay, let me have a look-see, puck-see. Okay. I'm going to go to Harper's Road for Who You Left Behind. So, having just been unceremoniously awakened by a tiny, scampering, hungry fox, River gets up and rises, and as she does, it's almost as if she's dirtier than she was before, although you can't imagine that anyone would ever be any dirtier than she was to begin with. And as she rises, she looks around and can hear the quick flick, 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 flick sound of the magus cycling through everyone they've ever been. And she sighs and secretly hopes that new places and new environments and new air will do something to make whatever is happening to them stop. And as she looks out behind her at the castle, she remembers the one form of the magus that she ever truly cared for, and tries to remember how long it's been since she's seen that form, and it's been so long that she can't. And she goes to the carriage and pulls open the back flap curtain and peeks in, and the ever shifting, ever changing form stares back at her, asleep but awake and alive and dead and man and woman and fox and raven and star and a million things. And she knows that it's fruitless to wait for the form that she's waiting for, but she can't help it. And half an hour goes by before she realizes that time has passed, and she steps away and closes the curtain. And as she walks out to the campsite, she sees the sleeping form of Vago and smiles to herself at the innocence of such a person who feels so old but is still so young to her. And she looks around, trying to see if the fox is nearby, but knows he's probably out chasing mice. And with everyone sleeping and everything moving on without her, she finds a strange comfort in continuing to be very much alone. And that's where I'll let that one go.
You soliloquied.
Yeah, my bad.
No, that's
I'd already
okay.
interacted with so many people, and I can't move the maggots because I hadn't had a turn yet. So.
No. I wasn't complaining. I was just noting our first soliloquy.
Ah, okay, yes, good. Soliloquided.
Yeah, I think that's a real word for sure.
That's way better than the one we came up with before stream, which we will not mention.
No, we won't.
No, but yours is better though. I really want to give Katy a tag, but I don't like any of these ones for her.
I don't think there's at least one of them that I don't think she is.
Oh yeah, that one.
You can send my character arc on like a 180.
Yeah.
She's kind of evil.
Yeah. I mean, she did say she hadn't left her castle in a while, so I could give her a wealthy, but it's not as much. I feel like
I'm sure there'll be more.
I know, there'll be more fun ones for you, I think. I'm just sad because I really wanted you to have a tag. Now that we've met River a little better, I wish I had given her Fierce from the Rose Garden. Because that's what I'm feeling.
Fawn just is like, screw this, goes all the way back to the castle, gets Rose, and is like, here you go, you're fierce, and like stabs her with it. That's the alternate universe story.
Perfect.
Sorry,
no, you're good. Since I think I'm gonna take the Magus to Barley Town. I think it's Barley time, guys.
It's Barley time.
It's Barley.
That's where I'm a big damn hero.
It's Barley time. Come on, everybody.
Let's go to the shitty town where I'm a big damn hero.
Yep.
Big fish in a small pond.
Mm.
It's
Okay.
Barley time. Come on and grab your friends. Go to very eerie lands.
Very nearby lands. All right, tell us a tale of the hospitality of the Barley Lord.
Okay. So, I think it's been a few days because, we're traveling really slow with the really unwell Magus through the Oak Hills. But the hills start to flatten out and you start to see more like plains and farm fields and things like that. And the trip becomes a little easier. The road is even better kept, and I think people know that the Magus is on the way, and there's some talk of it, and things are neatened up and made sure that they're nice for their arrival, and I think Fawn is walking slowly with one hand on the cart and kind of speaking softly into the cart, but like not enough that it's like that they're actually conversing, but as if just to have words in the air. And I think as we approach the town, some children come out, and the children come running up to Fawn, and Fawn reaches out and touches all of them and brings them in and puts a finger to her lip and says, "Shh, children, the Magus is here." And she, like, does it with as much awe in her voice as to, like, trick the kids into being like, like, type thing. And she's just like, say hello, very quiet. And they're all like, hello, Mr. Magus, hello, Mrs. Magus, hello, Sir Magus. Like, just, and I think for a second you actually hear the stop. And they look around like something is happening. But then it goes back. It's happening again. But there was a pause, there was a moment where it seemed like maybe the Magus was able to stop and listen. And I think Fawn sort of shoos them away and they run ahead, and as we sort of actually enter Barley Town proper, people are out and people start to come out with gifts that I think maybe the Barley Lord has encouraged them to prepare to show the hospitality of Barley Town to the Magus's arrival. I think that's that scene.
I'm gonna go to Matilda's farm. It is also my farm.
Interesting.
I say something to the group like, we'll meet up. I've just got to go pick up a few things. And I trudge off towards this little farm on the outside of town. I push the door open and I say, "Hon, I'm home." And I put my bag onto the table and I say, "Yeah, no, we're getting ready to go." There's no responses to any of these things. And I'm moving through the house and I'm just kind of opening cupboards and trying to find some stuff and throwing it out onto the table to get things ready. And says, yeah, it's quite the group. Most of them are all right. And I'm going through stuff and kind of making little piles and organizing things. I pick up like a pitchfork that's leaning against the wall. And I look at it and I kind of like shrug and put it back up against the wall. Say, there's one that, well, I think she tried to spook me, but I've seen worse. Yeah, I actually felt like you were there when I was talking to her. Anyway, oh yeah, of course. No, I'm gonna, if we go in that direction, I'm gonna go, I'll see him. I'll go see him, I promise. Yeah, I miss you too. And I pack up a bunch of, I sort of start bundling everything up. And there's a pause. And I say, oh, well, I was just going to head to the inn because I think that's where the rest of them are staying. But yeah, I can stay here. I can stay here for tonight. And that's my scene. Talking to myself in an empty house.
No! You monster. Why is everyone doing this?
Sad boy returns.
God damn it.
It's so sad.
Why does Fawn have to be the only happy one? Why are you guys all so tragic?
I'm not sad.
I'm not tragic.
So this is what I tell the kids in acting class. I'm like, the saddest things are not the sad people. The saddest things are the things that you can, you know what's coming and you feel it, and that's what Jordan's doing to us.
He's a monster.
It's called depth.
The depth of my tears.
Oh, shoot. There was one. Let's say I spend the night. There was one. I need to do the what she thinks you need.
Yeah.
And I had something in mind and I forgot. I wake up the next morning and breakfast is made for me. And I sit down and I say, "Hun, you've outdid yourself."
Oh.
And the table is it's set with a fork and a knife and a spoon for like a little bit of custard or something. But then right beside the knife is a short sword, like in the place setting. And I'm like, Han, I don't think it's this kind of trip. But fine. And I grab the short sword and I stick it, and I put it into my belt, just like in that stupid way the cartoon characters do, where they put it right into their belt. And I said, "If you insist, hun." And that's my scene.
So she's just like a tiny mouse or something, guys. She's not dead. I know what you're thinking. She's not dead. She's just like a little mouse, just like putting stuff out.
She's one of the borrowers.
It took her all night to drag that sword up to the table. It's fine.
Yeah. Yep.
I married a pixie named Matilda. Anyway, it's someone else's turn.
It's her
now.
farm, so I mean, like, obviously she's doing okay.
It's always going to be her farm. All right.
It's Kit's turn.
Ooh. Oh boy. I don't know. I know. I actually know. I'm gonna go to Oak Island. And I'm going to request Fawn join me. That's okay.
Yeah, Fawn will absolutely join you.
Okay. So, as we're at Oak Island, this place actually reminds me quite a lot of home. To be quite frank, it actually reminds me of the day my children were born. It was a nice, warm, sunny day like this. 3 pups were born. Wife, she bathed them, and they came out looking bright and happy. We fed them some mice, drank some milk, and they played out in the sun. It was a beautiful, warm fall day. Oh, you would have loved it. The sounds they made, music to my ears.
That's a good day for children to be born.
It is. You'll be 4 this year.
4 is a good, strong, capable age.
It is. They'll be finding their own dens.
When was the last time you saw them?
Oh, about a month now. But you've got to keep good memories like this. I keep it dear to my heart all the time.
I'm glad you have those memories.
Me too. And
it was a happy one! Look at that! I was like waiting for Kit to turn it. I was like waiting. I was like, what evil thing are you gonna do? I'm like,
he said something like,
it's supposed to be happy.
But we didn't hear the bear coming out.
Yeah, I was waiting for the pups to die, and I was like, Kit, you better not do.
No, I want a family.
Good, you have a family. You have a bunch of pups. They're gonna be getting their own den soon.
It was beautiful.
Beautiful, wonderful.
Wait, it's me, and I am not prepared. I will.
I see some really good ones for River. I'm like, what's River gonna do?
You want to go shopping?
Sing us the song of your people.
I love shopping, but I don't know if River loves shopping. Let's see.
Or Cole?
I'm gonna go.
Confession.
Oof. I'm gonna go. Just type where you want me to go in the secret chat.
No, you gotta pick. You gotta pick.
Oh,
I like watching the little bird dance around.
Yeah, I know, the bird hopping around is pretty good.
Trying not to make it dead time, but it's dying. Okay. I will commit to going to the old abbey.
That was absolutely the one I would have typed.
I didn't want to go to the Inn of the Fiddle because I didn't want to have to sing. So, the old abbey. All right. So, as we approached Barley Town and everyone went their semi-separate ways, River looked around and, having never seen a town outside of Ravenhall and having never been anywhere, she scans the horizon, and the tallest, most beautiful building she approaches, and she heads in the direction of the old abbey. And as she approaches, she smells the dust and the ancient texts and the sheer oldness of it, and feels like she made the right choice. And as she enters, she looks around, and there's no one in the abbey except for a little girl. And I'm gonna get it'll be too funny if Jordan does it. Let's have Jess do it. You can be this little girl, and I don't know, what is she doing?
The little girl in the abbey?
Mm-hmm.
I think that she is looking for good places to hide next time that she plays hide and seek in here, because she's been getting caught a lot lately and she needs to work on that. So she's kind of like looking like, oh no, this is too obvious, they'll find me here, and then like, oh, this might be okay.
So River watches her hide and doesn't want to spoil her fun, and pretends to not be able to see her, even though she's hiding partially in plain sight, as kids do. And she walks through the abbey and sits in the frontmost pew bench place, and looks up at what appears to be a bit out of place, this beautiful stained glass window that everything surrounding it is old and dusty and unkempt, but this window, it's almost as if dust can't touch it, and the light shining through has kept it pristine, and it's just a mix of these beautiful colors, and the picture almost seems to change the more she looks at it, and she gets lost in the picture of the stained glass and forgets about this little girl who is doing something.
I think she, as little kids sometimes do, she's like, hiding and sees this person and then like thinks because I guess like River knew where she was because she's a dumb little kid who like hides in a dumb spot, and so she like probably giggles to herself and thinks that like River's gonna do that thing that adults do where they start talking as if like, oh, where could they be, like type thing. So she's like still hiding and kind of like giggling.
So when River hears the giggling, she's pulled away from the window and she turns around, and being much less like other adults that this little girl would know, instead of playfully playing into the game, all of a sudden, from behind the little girl, she hears a little chirping sound. And then from another pew, there's a little chirping sound. And another pew, and the sound just keeps bouncing around the abbey of a little bird. And all the while, River is still gazing forward as if she had nothing to do with it.
I think the little girl first looks immediately behind her, and there's nothing there, right? So I think she crawls out of whatever like little nook she was in and starts going through the pews, like just starts walking through the pews looking for this, like, she's like, is it here? Is it there? Where is it? There's a bird. There's a bird in here. And she's looking all around.
And all of a sudden, on River's shoulder, who's still facing the front, a tiny little canary is sitting there, chirping away, and just as you get close enough to investigate, it vanishes in a puff of dusty smoke. And River turns just her head around slowly and says, "You shouldn't play games in a place so sacred."
We play here all the time.
Well, I suppose it's in your nature to play, but I wouldn't know the first thing about it.
You could try. Have you ever played hide and seek?
No, but I imagine the rules are self-explanatory.
Yeah. I'll hide and then you seek me.
All right, little girl, go ahead.
Okay, you have to turn around.
So she turns around and looks back towards the window.
Okay, she goes and like hides under a pew, like completely open.
River walks right up to her and says, "I found you."
See, wasn't that fun? She comes out from under the pew.
I am not entirely sure. Perhaps if I hide and you seek.
Okay, I know everywhere in this abbey. I'll find you for sure. And she turns around and like covers her face and starts counting to like 10.
River looks around and realizes that most of the hiding places are child size and not full-grown adult size. And she then walks to the corner of the room and tries as best as she can to feel one with the dust and the dirt and the grime, and slowly the image of River fades a little, and if you weren't looking really hard, you might not see her there amongst all of the dirt and the grime. She's definitely not invisible, but it's almost as if she's willing herself to just disappear.
Yeah, I think the little girl finishes counting, turns around, and, like, does a big scan, like, doesn't see anything upon an immediate, like, scan, and then starts to look in all the usual kid places. Do you know what I mean? Like, she goes and looks, like, in, like, behind the altar? I don't know. In between the, like, between, like, behind boxes and things.
River watches her from the corner and slowly, as the little girl doesn't find her, starts to feel some kind of joy in this game. And before she can help it, the disguise she has tried to create for herself is fading in and out, and it isn't very strong. But she doesn't really notice as she smiles at her own cleverness and the little girl's joy happening in front of her.
So she kind of reappears, like she kind of loses it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the little girl, you know, like looks up from one of the boxes she was looking in and like turns and like sees her. It comes running over and does that little kid thing of like, you know, she puts both her hands on like your legs because that's as tall as she is. She's like, I found you.
And River, for the first time since anyone's seen her, laughs and says, I confess that I have never had fun, and this was very fun. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it. It's a fun game. Now you know it, and you can teach other people.
Yes, I think it will come in quite handy. Thank you, little one. What is your name?
Cynthia.
Cynthia. That's a lovely name, Cynthia. Thank you for playing with me.
I'm glad we played. I'm gonna go home now. Bye!
Goodbye, little one. And as she watches Cynthia dart out of the abbey, she turns back to the stained glass window and says, to no one or everyone, I confess that that was truly very fun. And turns smiling and walks out the door of the abbey.
No! Don't give her your name. Names have power.
No, Cynthia's doomed.
Now she can summon Cynthia whenever she wants to.
Oh no! Poor Cynthia!
What an idea.
Oh, no. Cynthia's gonna be like, where am I? What happened? Okay, so it's a little after 8:30, so we discussed doing no. We were just debating whether to do one more turn or not, but I think now is a good time to do the little break. I really like that scene. Ha ha! Tricking everyone into doing happy scenes. This is my brand. Anyway.
You're feeling sad about what's going on with Vago. That's on you. Vago's happy with this situation.
I already am sure that it's just a little mouse wife.
Yeah.
Just happily mousing about.
Yep.
I mean, we have fox people in our crew, so it's not that out there, I feel like. Our magus can't sustain one shape, so clearly there are many shapes to be had. So yeah, we're gonna take a quick break. Thanks everyone who has been hanging out. We're gonna take a quick 5-10. You should get up, stretch your legs, get yourself a drink too, and we will be back here in a second. So see you soon. We're back. We did it.
Hooray!
Huzzah! Damn it, Jinx. Boo! We scared Jake. Hi, Jake. We did a spook. We did a spook on you. How's it going? Welcome back, Dustin. Welcome back, everyone. We are back from our little break. We are continuing in Barley Town for at least one more turn, and then people can decide if they want to stay or if they want to go. So continuing our Fall of Magic game, it is my turn. Thanks so much, everyone who's still hanging out. You scared you too, you jumped in the kitchen. Ha-ha! We're so good at this, guys. We did so many spooks. Okay. So I am going to take Fawn to the farmer's market. And I like to imagine that Fawn tried to convince everyone to come with her.
Ooh.
Vago's on board.
And I think she maybe even I don't know if she starts with Vago, but she is, like, I think she's known Vago the longest, so there is at least one moment in which she does have her arm hitched in Vago's arm, and she's like, come on, and she's like, come on, you have to come. Let's go.
Oh, no, I'm on board.
Okay.
Caspian's on board.
This is my favorite place to go.
And then I think she's doing kind of like a Belle in Beauty and the Beast and like walking to the different stalls and being like, we'll need some of this and some of this. And she's like, these. And she's like, Caspian, these fresh berries, these wild berries, very delicious from our lands. I'd love for you to try them. And for you, River, Raven, something smoked? Would you like smoked fish, or perhaps seeds? We have these beautiful seed treats that we make here in town. I'm not sure. I'll get both of them. Vago. Oh, that stinky old cheese. We'll get you some of that, but we're gonna keep it away from everything else.
No, don't worry about me. The wife got a nice pack.
Oh,
She packed up a nice amount of cheese for me. I only know how to cook one thing, but I thought I could make it for us tonight.
Ooh, that's very kind of you. What do we need? Let's go. And I think, like I said, she's going around from stall to stall, and like occasionally someone tries to like wave her off to not like pay. And she's like, oh, but that thing, you fixed my ailment. And she's like, nonsense. You're gonna take this money and you're gonna like it. And
so you are the belle of this provincial town.
I am the belle of this provincial town since you made this happen.
Aren't you glad we tagged you with that?
I was tagged. It's not my fault.
I want to make chili, so we need peppers. We need a lot of peppers.
Okay.
What is chili?
It's kind of like you chop up a bunch of beef and it's like a stew. It's like a spicy stew. It's really easy to make. It's all in one pot, and you just let it sit, and it makes the whole house smell really good.
That sounds wonderful.
It's great.
I mean, I don't cook, but I could find meat for you to put in this chili stew, if you would like.
I never saw the mouse thing, right?
No.
Yeah. If you could pick out some choice cuts, that'd be really great. I know more about the veggies.
At this point, I don't know if Vago knows if I'm truly a fox.
No, I don't think I've ever seen it.
Would human Caspian like walk up to like the butcher's area and like sniff out the best ones, or like
No.
You're planning on hunting something wild?
Caspian doesn't have money.
I love it. It's so good.
So yeah, I'm just following behind you, Fawn, with a basket, and you can toss whatever you want into it.
Oh, she's absolutely like loading you up with like stuff. River, is there anything else I can interest you in?
Is there anything sparkly?
Ooh, sparkly. This way maybe. And she takes you over to, oh gosh, What? I don't think she was expecting that. She's like, well, you know, I was thinking that we get some of these, and she walks over to a flower stall, and there's some like dried hanging like herbs and stuff like that. She's like, I was thinking we would get some of these to hang in on the back of the Magus's cart. They smell nice, and I know she'd at least like the memory of these. I know she used to like them. And she like looks away wistfully for a second, and then she looks back. She's like, but for you, maybe some of the fresh flowers? And there's like some nice, like much prettier ones. Anything like this we can have with us?
Do what you will with the flowers. The Magus is not of my concern. And you notice her mood shifted immediately as soon as you mentioned purchasing things for the Magus. From one of attempting to be engaged to complete disregard for anything you have to say. She doesn't stray far, but appears to be looking for something off on her own.
Well, she's a real party.
It's okay. We'll find something she likes eventually. I'll just get a little bit of everything.
Sounds fine to me.
Well,
I'll be back with some meat. I'll see you all later. Night.
Bye.
It's the stall's just over.
And he's gone.
All right.
I'm excited to try whatever the Caspian brings.
He must have like a guy, you know.
Something like that. I think that's the scene.
Just me with the basket nodding obliviously.
Yeah. And that was we've now done a full round in Barleytown, so if anyone wants, we can move. What are our next options?
It's Mistwood.
Ooh.
What Slows You Down, or the Stormguard Mountains, the coming storm.
Ooh.
And it's back to me, eh?
Yeah.
Yes.
The only idea I had was the farmer's market, so I think we might move along, unless anyone really wants to stick around for one more Barleytown.
Were you planning on doing the same scene I just did?
I was going to involve Chili. I was thinking of taking River shopping, just one-on-one, but different timeline.
Do it again.
No. Does anyone? I just don't want to move us along if someone's really hung up on a Barleytown.
No, I'm happy to move.
I mean, this is my home. I could stay here forever, but...
I like how your voice just changed.
Oh,
I could stay here forever.
there's
Some
nothing better than the smell of barley. And
What's
pig poo.
barley made of? What barley's made of. Or makes, rather.
Yeah, I'm making sure to bring some of that, too. I think we have more ties to Mistwood than we do to the Stormguard Mountains. So I'm gonna...
By that you mean one?
Well, we have no ties to the Stormguard Mountains. I'm gonna take the Magus and move us along to Mistwood. Mistwood. What slows you down? Well, the chili's really good. And I scramble back to the farm before we leave and get a bunch of preserve jars to try and like bring as much as we can with us. Obviously, we'll have to eat it fairly quickly over the next few days. But a bright morning, we load up. You find it strange that I haven't been back to my farm since the first day that we got here. I talk about my wife all the time, but I don't go back to say goodbye to her, which is strange. Maybe.
I thought you said you went back to get preserve jars.
Oh.
So if you did that, I think we'd assume that you went back to see your wife.
Okay. I forgot. Yes, that's sure. But she's not there to see us off or anything. Over the previous night, while we were kind of enjoying our time at the Inn of the Axe and the Fiddle and enjoying this, the Magus took a form and stayed in it for the whole night and woke up and was still in this form. The form that they were in was of a small child, maybe like 1 or 2 years old. So I'm surprised to find them still in this form, and they seem very energetic, and I make them some bacon and eggs, and they scarf it down readily. And when it's time to leave, they take my hand, which is really strange to me. And what's one thing that the Magus always has in every form, like so that we always know it's them?
A birthmark behind the ear.
A little birthmark? Okay. Maybe it's shaped like a
bean.
Like a little bean.
Bean.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, guess we're doing this now. And I bring them out to the cart or the wagon and load them in. And I look over to everyone else and I look back at the Magus and I say, do you need toys or something? The Magus just kind of grins. And we start making our way to the Mistwood. And the Magus stays in kid form the whole time. And insists in their way on stopping to look at every bird that we see out of every window and look at every animal that comes across our path. And they are looking at them like they have never seen any of these things before. And I don't know how old the Magus is, but I assume that they are eternal. So it's confounding that they have never seen a squirrel or a deer or a rabbit before. So it takes us just getting there probably 2 days longer than it should, just because of all of the stops that we have to make, because our Curious Magus is just collecting leaves and pressing them in books and just like building little piles of rocks to mark our way. Just 3 hours looking at an anthill. We don't have this kind of time, but the Magus guides us. And so if the Magus wants to go slow, we go slow. And that's the intro for the Magus. I will reveal the rest of the Mistwood. I think that's everything. Who's next?
Do I have to roll a d6?
So we've got another thing here. The way it works is the first line is the prompt, and then when you get to a point where there could be a uncertain outcome, you roll the d6 and role play the rest of the scene with that result. Yeah, you do you do roll.
Okay.
All right. So I believe, it's Kit, right? That's next.
Yeah. Token. I'm gonna actually go camping, and I feel like I would like everybody to be in this one with me.
This prompt makes me nervous.
This night, as we pull up to a bit of a hillside, as we're making camp, a trio of foxes run out.
That's good. Good one.
They run into camp, They run up to my legs, and I start petting them. I look to everybody and say, I would like you all to meet my children.
I imagine I'm in the middle of like nibbling a little bit of meat, like nibbling a little meat from from some leftover chili off of a very tiny bone, and I just say, "Sorry, what?"
Why, these are my children.
Nice to meet you, you kids.
Why, you seem a little confused there.
Well, I mean, they're just a lot hairier than you are, and I was a little surprised. I'm a little surprised, that's all.
I mean, they do call me the Fox of Mistwood.
Look, I'm not judging. I can only imagine the weird stuff we're going to see out here, so this is nothing. And I take the little bone and I offer it to one of the little, just sort of hold it out low for one of your kids.
It'll run up and grab it and scurry back into the underbrush.
They are lovely, Caspian. This is a beautiful home here. Will they go very far from you when they make their own homes?
Well, it depends on if they can find a place. But probably a hill or two away, I assume.
That sounds not too far.
I myself traveled a few miles from my parents.
Children must all move away from their parents someday, but it's still nice to have them somewhat near.
Why, yes. Do you have kids?
I mean, many of the children in Barleytown are mine. Or so I like to think. I help bring a lot of them into the world.
As a midwife, you do a great service to the town. We don't have that in the forest. We foxes birth our young by ourselves.
All the more strong it proves them to be now that they are here.
Why, yes. They were fighters.
And brave too, coming into this camp full of unusual folk.
Well, I am here, so they must have smelt me.
Children in abbeys and children in the woods and children in the carriage and the magus is a child. It's so much immaturity and so much waste of time. My patience is running out. Say goodbye to your children and get ready to do the job that you were called to do and stop playing happy father.
Spooky, I'm gonna have to stop you there. We don't know how long this journey is gonna be. And sure, perhaps you don't worry. You're not worried about anything. You're not worried about leaving anyone behind. But some of us have families. Some of us have people that'll miss us if we're gone. So
then stay here with your tiny baby foxes and your imaginary wife and play happy home. Because until we save the magus, none of this is worth anything, and it won't be here if we don't move quickly. And who Someone, please tell me who has the Magus in this ridiculous child form. Why are they stuck like this? Who is indulging this nonsense? They are an ancient being filled with multitudes of possibilities, and we're stuck with a toddler that poops his pants and stares at ants. This is insane.
Fawn literally walks around the corner, keeping like the Magnus on her hip. And she's like, "Sorry, River, were you saying something?"
Listen, Spooky. They are making these choices for themselves. So, if the kid wants to look at ants, we're gonna look at ants. And if you think that having a family, and I look over at Caspian, doesn't mean anything, then you don't understand why people go on these kinds of trips.
No, you're right. I wouldn't understand. So, do your job or don't. See if I care. But enough with this nauseating family indulgence.
I just sort of get up and I move past and I ruffle. I'm moving over to sit beside where Caspian is. I ruffle the Magus's hair as I go by. And then I sit down beside Caspian and I say, "So what's their names?"
We don't have names per se. I was given a name by the Magus, so.
Well, I mean, I can give them some names.
By all means, I would like.
I look down and
like that.
And I say, "Winkin, Blinkin, and Nod."
Very well. They are very apt names.
Well, that's good. And I look over at Fawn. I say, "You're not the only one that's good with kids."
I never thought you weren't. You're generally the one putting yourself down.
Well, I'm trying to do this positive attitude thing.
Mm-hmm. And I think Fawn literally, like, because you said the Magus was like 1, right?
I said 1 or 2 years old. Yeah.
Okay. Because when you first said that, I was like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what babies are like at different ages.
We're gonna have to say 2 for all that the Magus has thus accomplished.
Yeah, if you claimed that, I think you claimed if they were like holding your hand and walking and stuff like that and like doing stuff, I feel like they have to be at least 2.
Okay.
You could still like carry a 2-year-old, right?
Oh yeah.
Sorry,
oh, yeah.
I don't know.
2 is like they walk for like a couple seconds and then you pick them up.
Okay. Yeah. Cause Fawn the midwife knows this, but just the human who doesn't handle babies does not. But yeah, I think so I think that maybe Fawn is at this point, like you said, you ruffled Vago ruffled the Magus's like little baby hair. And I think Fawn is like doing that thing where you like hold up their little baby hands and you like doing like a little thing with them. And I think the Magus is like kind of giggling and stuff. And I think Fawn says, "I completely see why they would want to travel like this. What better a way to see the wonder of the world anew than like this?"
Yeah.
And I feel. I was gonna say, after you.
I was just gonna say a fresh look at old stuff. That seems like a good plan.
You're all foolish, and we are running out of time. But do as you will, whatever makes you happy.
I feel like the Magus tries to crawl over to some of Kit's kits.
Sure. And they probably would let him.
Yeah, I feel like it's actually a really cute scene where like the 3 kits and the one human baby are like doing
Babying it.
Yeah, they're babying it up. Although in theory, your 4-year-old kits are like pretty mature.
I pop a little cube of really stinky cheese in my mouth, and as I'm chewing it, I look over at River and I say, "This is what makes me happy." So we're doing this right now. Sorry.
I am glad for you.
I don't believe you.
That as it will. If the Magus dies, I hope you were happy for a little while.
I do earmuffs on the Magus. He's sitting right here.
He can't understand anything. That's why he's useless like this.
Sure.
The Magus knows his own fate.
Silly fox.
And that is where we end.
Good scene.
All right.
It is River's turn.
Oof!
So much fun. So much fun will we have now.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay. I'm
There's
gonna
the
make my
forest.
way over to foraging. So Grumpy River is grumpy because everyone's having fun and families and lives, and she has no way to relate to any of those things, and is probably a little bit right in that they don't have a lot of time for playing around, but perhaps she didn't have to be such a snotbag about it. So off she goes to contemplate her life choices into the mist wood, and it is a misty wood. To deny that would be weird. The woods are full of fog and mist and creepiness, and it clings to her dress, and some of the dust and coal and decay and soot congeals in the mist and almost becomes a little more like paint than the dry awfulness that it was before. And she strolls through and when do we roll the d6?
So your prompt is the lesson you teach, so you set that up, and then
Excellent.
whenever you think there's a point where it might
Okay.
the turning point, you can roll.
So she moves into the mistwood and she looks around and thinks about the Magus and their fate and everything that Caspian has said about the Magus. And behind her, as if prompted by the memory of Caspian, appears a little kit, which is immediately recognizable as one of Caspian's offspring. And the kit is following her, what appears to be curiously, as these animals are. And she turns to watch it, and I'll let Kit play his kit from there.
Oh, girl, what you doing? What you doing with my child?
I don't know, you tell me.
So the follows. He just sniffs your footprints, one after another, and then will sniff your foot, and then just look up at you.
She crouches down and says, "Oh, little one, the world is a dangerous place, and you should be careful straying so far from your family. And with the intention of teaching this little kit how dangerous the woods are, we should roll the dice. I don't know how.
I've got
Just
one.
if you guys,
I have
whoever's
one.
got a D6, yeah.
Oh, Jess is doing fancy. Roll 20 dice. Okay, what'd you get?
You got it? Okay.
Yeah, I got a 2.
Sweet. So that says where you are wrong, which is lovely. So, River, crouching down, intends to show the fox how dangerous the world is and intends to teach it a lesson. And the little kit just gently boops her leg with its little snoot. And she looks around and realizes that the sun is coming through the mist and there are birds chirping and new flowers growing amongst the moss, and truthfully, no danger in sight. And she looks down and says, scooping the little kit up in her arms, she says, "Oh, little one, I had intended for you to be afraid so that you would live longer in what, in my experience, is such a cruel world. But it seems you already have everything you need." And she puts the little kit down and watches for its reaction.
It looks up at you, nuzzles your ankle, and then runs off into the brush.
And with that, River looks around alone in the sunlight and the flowers and the trees and the sounds, and everything feels wrong. And she just sits down and starts to cry. And that's where we'll end the scene.
Oh.
Every time you're in a scene with something,
You think I'm gonna kill it?
it's just like it's a nail biter.
I'm not gonna kill the cute things.
I know that you're not capable of that.
No.
I was so worried.
No.
I don't think Katy would do it. I think River would do it.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I could even through.
Katy, you were trying to teach it a lesson in fear.
I know, it's sad. That sounds like murder.
Well, truth be told, because it's improv, I have no freaking idea what I'm gonna do until literally stuff happens. And then he rolled a 2, and I was like, well, whatever it is I was gonna do, I'm not gonna do it, so we'll never know. Like, I don't have a plan.
Fair enough.
It's a good thing he didn't roll something where I might have to have figured out what I was gonna do.
Okay.
Side note,
Yeah.
I am using my fox die,
Nice.
so it's on my side.
The fox dice. Nice. I'm not sure what I want to do. I was trying to think about it, and I was like, I'm not sure. I like the prompt of, like, Trail of Rangers, The Changing Mist, but I'm not sure what I'm gonna do there. But I guess that's where we're going, because I like it, so... I mean, actually, where I place myself, I could do either. By Moonlight or Trail of the Rangers. So I've not solved my problem at all. By Moonlight makes me think of a scene that's very midwifey, but I almost want to do something different. So I think I'm gonna do Trail Rangers, the Changing Mist. So I think we had that nice camp, and I think Fawn put little baby Magus to bed.
Magus Jr.
Yeah, mini Magus.
Mm-hmm.
She put the mini Magus to bed, and she settles them in. She tucks them all in until they're all like she waits with them until they fall asleep, and she does like a little like pat on them, and she says, "If you brought me here just to change your diapers, this is not funny, and I don't appreciate it." And then I think once Mini Magus is asleep, she walks away, and I think she kind of like looks at like the camp and looks at the fire, and continues walking into the forest. And I think she actually is looking around and collecting maybe some herbs or something, and she's like muttering to herself like, oh, these will be good if someone needs help sleeping, and like, oh, these will be good for something else. And I think she is so busy like doing this that she doesn't notice kind of like how far she's wandered, and maybe she wanders like a little bit too far into the forest, and she actually gets to a place where it gets a little bit dense and it's quite foggy, and she looks around and she's a little bit lost, and she's like, oh, that's not good. But she continues walking because she doesn't she's not sure. She like looks what she thinks is behind her, and she's like, she's not sure if that's quite the way back. So she continues walking until she gets to a place where she notices the mist sort of like swirling, and there's a space where there's no mist. And like for the most part, all through the trees it's misty, and all through the space, like most everything is very foggy, but there's this one swirling patch of no fog. And I think she like cocks her head at it for a second and then goes and sits down right in the middle of it. And she looks around and like collects some stones and some branches, and she's like, well, I haven't had to do this in a while, and she starts to like make a little arrangement. And I think she does some magic. And I just couldn't be literal here because I don't have a fancy thing for it. I think she makes like I said, she sort of like crosses some sticks and she puts some stones in between them. And she says a few words and closes her eyes, and when she opens them, the sticks kind of like are shaking, and then they turn and like move and point, and she like gives a sigh like, oh, okay, well, thanks for your help, and gets up and just walks back to the camp. And that's it.
I'm gonna say that you run into me walking sort of out into the woods.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do the by moonlight.
Yeah, okay.
And you hear me before you see me, and it sounds like I'm talking to you. Sort of. No, hun, no, we never came out here. Yeah, I mean, I was so young then, all I really remember is running. So, we hadn't met yet. So I hadn't got my life figured out. But look, they needed help, and I needed to find them. So that's what you're hearing me talk about as we run into each other. Oh, Fawn. Just going for a little evening constitutional.
What were you running from?
I don't know. This is a saunter at best.
No, I swear I just heard you say you were running?
Long time ago. Stopped running not too much after that, actually. When you're younger, you're an idiot. So, and this idiot decided that he was the person for the job.
Ooh, are you sharing the story of when you became the legendary hero?
Is that you in character, or is that...
That's character.
Okay.
Because out of character, I'd be saying, Frankie! Look at that.
Oh my god.
Look at that snugglepuss.
I'm sorry if her rubbing up against the headphones is making a crap ton of noise, but... The thing is that there's not a lot of story to tell. And anything you might have heard in town, grossly exaggerated.
Stories often are.
When someone comes to you and they say that someone they love is missing, and they come to you at a time in your life when you haven't got anything else, you think, all right, I'll do what I can. And if I die out there, no one's going to miss me. Anyway, when I got out here and I heard them crying, I thought, I don't know how anyone could be a parent. But I gathered them all up. All but one, obviously. Anyway, I'm no hero. I'm just the first one that answered.
But you are a hero because you answered. And...
Sure. That name wasn't... I didn't take that name on myself. That name was given to me.
She was stuck to you. That was...
She thinks she's drowning.
Oh my god. I just want to zoom in and get a clip of that. Trying to wrench this cat off you. Oh god. Oh.
Where were we?
You're talking about how you're a big damn hero.
Look. Those kids were in trouble.
And you saved them.
I went out and found them.
Not everyone could do that.
Nope, and and even I didn't really do it because not all of them came back.
You did more than anyone else could.
But not enough. Look, I don't really like talking about this. I don't know if you've noticed. I'm a happy-go-lucky guy, for the most part. I've got a beautiful wife, and I'm hoping to, run into my son on the way on this trip. And I'm just happy to be far away from the hero part of my name. Because I don't feel like one. Anyway, it's dark. We should get back. The Magus is a baby, so...
They're asleep.
All right. I'm sorry if I got short with you, Fawn.
No, if it needed to be said, it needed to be said. I'm sorry if I've said anything that upsets you.
No, it's just more complicated than the title suggests.
I understand that, but I do wish you could see...
You seem like a fun person.
Oh?
You want to piggyback back to the camp?
Well,
it's fun.
Do you need a saddle? How does this work?
you're just like a backpack.
Oh.
And I kind of
Okay.
crouch down, put my hands on my knees.
I think she like backs up and like runs at you. I've seen the children do this. Hang on, and like run jumps.
You know what? I've got an ulterior motive with this.
You really wanted to work on your legs.
Oh, it's always leg day. But I'm hoping River's there. If River's back at camp, you got to make this seem like you are having the best time.
Yeehaw!
Okay, we'll work on it on the way back, and I start to...
I swear that's what the children do.
Sure. And I start to trundle back to camp.
What? It's quite the display.
Mm-hmm. And that's my scene.
Good one. Nailed it.
So, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was kind of, I was rereading the prompt and I was like, wait, okay, I see it. Gotcha. Got it. Got it in one. Kit.
Yep.
So wait, we've done a go around, so if you want to move, we can move. Up to you.
I don't know where we would go to.
Well, is there something here you want to do? If there's not, we can go do the next one.
No, there's nothing here I want to do. You guys want to see my kids again?
Babies! Jordan, take us away!
Ray.
Are you muted?
Okay.
Are
He's
you...
muted.
Yep, I'm muted. So, technically we can head backwards. We could go back to the Stormguard Mountains. There's no rules
back
against
to Barleytown?
We could go back to Barleytown if we wanted. But the forward is the Hall of the Woods. The prompt is the hospitality of the Grey Rangers.
Okay. So we go to the Hall of the Woods. And the Grey Rangers, I run ahead in my box form, announcing announcing the arrival of the Magus. And they light torches along the path to show the way that is safe for the carriage to come. And when the Magus arrives, he's grown out of their childhood form, and they're back in the form of a constant change. And the Grey Rangers offer up one of their larger, more comfortable rooms in their manor.
I should show you the picture. I can show you the picture here. 1 second.
That would help. That would help. I don't know what I'm working with.
I mean, you're not far off. It's cottage country, but
their house. In their house, they offer up their more comfortable room and allow them to sleep with the most comfort possible as we rest for the night or a couple days until the Magus is prepared to travel again. Go.
Is he still in baby form? Or
No,
are they
he's
still in baby?
they're back in their ever shifting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Kit said they were shifting, and that's
Oh,
why.
sorry. Sorry, I missed it.
And that's why they're like giving hospitality to lay them down, right? You said.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There's still no good tags for Katy, and I'm annoyed.
There is one tag
I know,
here.
but I don't want to give that. It's a bad tag.
I don't know.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Ugh, I'm not ready. Last I was crying in the forest. So how will I get myself out of that? All right. So I will be. I figure I just cried it out and was left alone, a la infant parenting style. And now I'm done with that shenanigans. Made my way back to the camp and along to the Hall of the Woods. And I'm gonna make my way to the
You know you want to go and do a disturbing ritual.
No, I don't. I will make my way to the wild altar because I have to make a decision at some point.
Fresh desire.
I'll go to the wild altar. So, River is grumpy because she cried a bunch and felt feelings and it was unpleasant. And so she is glad to see that the Magus is back to his shifty. And she does check in on them to see if at any point the form she's waiting for appears. And when it doesn't, she decides she's going to find a place to sleep alone. And so she follows a rocky path near the Grey Ranger's hut thingy and comes upon what looks to be like a shrine type of a thing in the middle of the forest next to a waterfall. And this altar, there's little remnants of berries and flowers and scraps of brightly colored things left at the base of what appears to be some kind of stone carving in a language that she does not understand. And she lays her head down to rest near the altar and closes her eyes and allows for the opportunity for something to happen. Should anyone want to jump in? Kid's like, don't even look at me. Don't put me on the spot.
You
okay.
almost did something to my child.
You don't know. What didn't happen, didn't happen. All right. So while she's resting, we will say that twigs snap in the woods around her, and the sound of someone or something approaching becomes apparent. And there really is only one reason you would come to this part of the woods, and that would be to place an offering at the altar. So she wakes to the sound, looks around, and sees a cloaked figure in.
Can I be the cloaked figure?
Please do. And this cloaked figure is tall in an impossible way, and they are not trying to hide themselves in this grove. They made enough sound that they weren't necessarily trying to conceal their presence. They clearly knew the altar was here, but likely were surprised to find River asleep next to it. And seeing this cloaked figure, she jumps to her feet and staggers backwards.
Fear not, feathered one. And he reaches into his robes and he pulls out some kind of animal organ of some kind. Still crimson with blood. Puts it down on the altar. Do you seek something?
Well, I was looking just to rest, but now that you're here, I suppose I could seek answers. What is this place?
We come here to beseech the old gods, the gods of the wood and the wind.
For what? What do you want from them?
Safety for our families.
Ugh, families, again.
Assurances that we will be left to live in the woods unharmed. What do you seek?
Some great power, some solution to the problem I am facing that I have no control over.
He really dramatically pulls out a large blade from his robe and he swings it down, chopping the organ in half. And then there's just the sound of the blade being dragged across the stone for a second, and it goes back into his sheath. I'm not sure that what you seek will be found in the Mistwood, but I'm prepared to share my offering.
That is kind of you.
And he reaches out with two impossibly large hands and just slides one of the pieces towards you and the other one towards himself. Eat.
Okay.
I've seen your kind, feathered one. You fear not the entrails of animals. Eat.
Ew.
And as if she'd done it 100 times before, she picks up half of the organ, tosses it up, and it falls in her mouth and down her throat like it was nothing.
He has picked up his piece and he lets out a real strong yes, and he takes a bite out of it like it was an apple. And with the blood that's now on his hand, he starts drawing runes into the altar. They don't look like anything you've ever seen before. And then he finishes what's left. Should you pass back this way, feathered one, I would like to hear if you found this power you sought.
I would be more than happy to share it with you. And she she pulls her skirt up to about her knee, and from somewhere within her skirts pulls out one black feather, and you can't tell if it came from the fabric or somewhere else, and passes it to the cloaked figure and says, if ever you wish to share an offering again, just call for me, and holds out the feather and says, thank you.
He reaches down from his impossible height and he grabs the feather that seems very fragile in his hand, and his arm just disappears into the shadow of his cloak. Now he's just a silhouetted shape, and he backs away into the woods.
And as he goes, River looks at the altar and realizes that suddenly she can read what's on the stone. And it says, a queen once lost will yet be found when one loses their power within the ground. Do not fear, for what you seek is not to be found among the weak.
I'm going to have to come back and listen to that and write that down.
Yeah.
Benefits of streaming.
That was a toughie.
Good job, improvised prophecy.
That was an amazing, like, improvised poem. That was, like, so good.
And we'll have her end that scene there.
Ooh, I'm curious. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That was creepy.
That was so good and creepy, you guys.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
That was a good creepo scene, guys. Good job being
Finally,
creepers.
Finally, it did go like hilarious. Like I was imagining he was gonna be like, "Oh, hello there, young lady. Would you like an apple?"
Yeah, you were expecting Tom Bombadil and got a ring wraith.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, all of a sudden we're in Call of Cthulhu now.
Yeah.
Sanity checks, everyone.
Too bad, everybody fails.
Auto fail. Amazing. I really, really, really want to go to the Circle of the Agents, but I don't think I have a good enough thing for it. So I'm gonna go to the hall. And I think that Fawn has been spending a lot of time in the Hall of the Woods and taking care of the Magus, and she's just been there. And I think anyone who's kind of outside, like just outside of the hall, hears her calling. Yeah, I think she's like, is anyone out there? Hello? Is anyone? Is anyone outside the hall? Or is she alone?
Yeah, I think I'm probably like sitting in a chair outside. I'm not really comfortable here. So I'm not really sleeping under their roof.
Mm-hmm.
So
We all know River's not here. River's out doing dirty like evil rituals. But yeah, if you come inside, you'll see that Fawn is like, she's like literally, you know, damp clothing the Magus's head even as they change, almost like between every form. She's like, they're not doing good. I need you to go get something for me. And
absolutely anything.
I need you to go find a plant with 6 leaves per stem, silver on top and white underneath.
Surprisingly specific. Sure.
You should find them underneath the evergreen trees with the largest cones. Can you go get that for me, please?
Yes. Yeah. Is it nighttime right now?
What time did River leave at?
River was sleeping near the altar, so it must still be nighttime.
Yeah, so then it's, yeah. I was imagining kind of like dusk, like there was still like the tiniest bit of like,
sure, okay.
You know what I mean? Like it's...
We could flash back a little bit or whatever.
It's not full night yet?
Yeah, I, at a jog, start looking around outside. Is it easy for me to find?
I think if you... I don't know, are you good with... do you like walk up to some random...
Low intelligence.
Sorry?
I'm high wisdom, low intelligence.
But you said you were comfortable outside and with like plants somewhat and stuff like that. So I feel like you would...
Sure, farms and stuff. A little bit of camping.
So then, yeah, I think it's not too hard for you to find sort of like you see some...
Jess, is this a real plant?
No, I made it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gather up an armful and I bring it back.
Yeah. And she's like, okay, you keep doing this. And she like puts your hand on his head with the cold compress, but you have to almost like lift it between changes. You have to kind of like keep catching every new form with this cold compress.
I imagine the energy around them is like really strange.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels really weird. Like you know, like you don't know what is up, but something is up. Because the Magus has been changing this whole time, right? This
and
Magus...
you know what? My hand being close, like it transfers from being feathered and then scales. Ooh. And like it's transforming just a little bit from being on the outskirts.
Yeah.
Maybe
so Fawn, because Fawn was very specifically like compressing at specific times, and when you aren't moving your hand in the right sort of like in the right timing that she was kind of like practiced with and doing, you do little transformations too.
I would pull my hand back.
And she like comes back, she's like, no, you have to, and she like keeps doing it, and she's like, watch. And then like she gets another, like she reaches back and grabs another cold compress, like squeezes it out, gives it to you, and it's like, okay, when I do it, you do it.
Starts doing it.
Yeah. So I think you get it better this time, and then I think she's like, okay, just keep doing that. And then she goes and she gets some of the things that she had previously collected. She's like, I had some other things. I had thought to grab them, but I hadn't found this yet. This is perfect. And then I think she starts mashing it all together and like gets like some water and in like a bottle with a cork and like puts it all, like squishes all this stuff in and then shakes it all up. And then it's like, okay, on the count of 3, take your hand back. 1, 2, 3. And she like shoves this bottle in their mouth, and they pause from changing for a second. Like they freeze in the form they were in. And she removes the bottle and like closes their chin. And then she's like, hey, step back. And then it's this whole weird thing. And
what did you do?
And I think they like do like a and they cough in the same form they're in for a second, and then they change. But it's a lot slower now. And they sort of like, you see them breathing more calmly now. Like they inhale, they exhale, they change.
Huh. Good.
We still have to stay here a while. They're not quite right.
I'm nervous. I'd be nervous to move them.
While we're here, we should collect... I need to collect some more things.
I think we could probably wait till morning.
I think we might need a little longer than morning.
Right.
Oh, you meant to, like, to go collect more things.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Fair.
Yeah, I sit down on a bench across from the Magus and just look. Probably a, yeah, hun. Yeah, she's not, he's not looking, they're not, the Magus isn't looking that great.
I think that Fawn doesn't, like... I think Fawn hears you but doesn't acknowledge and just continues to stay with the Magus, and you see, like, her hand go down and hold their hand, and she's just sitting there staring at them. And that's it.
That feels like a good place to finish for the evening.
Yep. I think that's where we'll end it for tonight. That was... I love some of the scenes we had today.
So much fun.
It is a truly charming little game.
It is very interesting.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is... It's a really interesting one. Thank you guys for playing. Let's go around and say goodbyes, and if you have anything you want to plug, you can do it now, and we will go in reverse order. So, haha, it's your turn, Jordan.
Oh, I'm Jordan. I'm at Made of Cartoons, hanging around in Twitch chat and on Twitter. We'll be back next Tuesday, I guess. The next couple of Tuesdays, you'll be able to watch some more Fall of Magic. We're going to tell this tale until it's done. And the next thing that I'm kind of running, I guess, is in June. On the 7th and the... Was it the 7th and the... Oh, it's the 15th and the... It's in June.
It's on the 7th and the 21st.
The 7th and the 21st, I'll be doing... No, it's not the... Yes, it is.
Nope, it's the 14th and the 28th. We're both wrong.
It's the 14th and the 28th. I'll be running some Fiasco on Friday nights. Jess and I will be playing Fiasco with 2 lucky Fiasconeers. So
Fiasconians.
So that's a fun game. It's the opposite of this, where it is absolute nonsense and horribleness. It's like if everyone was a Katy.
Oh. If everyone was a river.
But like,
yes.
No, but like all the different Katys. So we have like a candy Katy and like a cute nominal Katy, and then there's like one evil Katy in the mix.
It's great.
So yeah, so we'll stay tuned for all Katys all the time on the 14th and the 28th.
I won't actually be there.
But then you should play everybody as Katy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, this is a new game we have to play now.
I mean, everybody is John, but I mean, it could be Katy.
Yeah. That'd be great. I'm interested in this.
I haven't watched that.
I would let you know before we all roleplayed you.
I haven't roleplayed Katy, but I have roleplayed one of her characters.
Oh, that's true.
Times.
Yes, yeah.
That's true. You have had
and
to
everyone
do
agreed that I did a pretty decent job.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Definitely.
Amazing.
Anyway, that's me. I took way too long.
And now it's Katy.
It's me. Reverse is confusing. My name is Katy. I'm tired. I have pets. They're cute, and you can't find me anywhere because I teach stuff. And if you do find me, don't share me with the children.
Those are the rules, guys. That's your agreement. If you're here right now, those are the rules.
That just sounded really weird to say.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought it until you said that, so that's on you guys.
That's on you.
Don't share it. Don't share me with children. Done.
I'm gonna get fired.
Now I feel now I'm supposed to hand it over to Kit, but I don't know if I want to. It's Kit.
Hi, I'm Kit Battlebeard. I make bad jokes. Also, you can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Kit Battlebeard as I try and suppress a cough terribly. Sorry, everybody. And every Saturday, I run my Defenders of the Dusk. We just wrapped up a really cool arc with hags. A bunch and a bunch of hags. There's like 3 or 4 different hag covens. It was great. I mean, for me, because I got to play hags, and not so much for my players who had to play against them, but I got to use a fun hag voice. It was great. And we... God damn it. Sorry, guys. Are going to be coming back in 2 weeks with a new arc of the story.
Ooh.
I also do a lot of other RPG stuff. Lots of one-shots. There will be a couple new one-shots coming up in the March of June.
The March of June.
Yep, that's what I said. I'll stick to that, and that's all I'm going to say because I'm going to just keep coughing.
Oh. I'm sorry for your coughing. But thank you for being here. And thank you for playing. Everyone who's still here, thanks so much for hanging out. Everyone that came and visited, for you guys for playing, for Jordan for facilitating. I'm excited to continue this adventure next Tuesday.
I got mascara in my eye, guys. I'm not crying over anything sad. It's my eye. Got mascara.
We know you have no feelings, River.
No feelings. Zero. Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
Jen.
you're totally fine. It's all good. Yeah, I was just gonna say come back next Tuesday. This Friday, I'm doing a D&D one-shot out of the Uncaged Anthology, which is an awesome book about flipping mythology norms on their head. And I got a cool group for that. I'm very excited for that this weekend. I'm on Anrastis' channel doing a Bluebeard's Bride game this Saturday. Dustin and I will be back with more WoW. Slayer and I will be back with more Borderlands, all that usual stuff. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. Follow if you haven't done that already. If you are, I'm now posting all the TTRPG stuff up on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, hey, come over to the Twitch sometime. Come hang out with us. Come chat. Be awesome like that. We will continue this story later because I know you want to know the rest because I want to know the rest. And we still need to get Katy a gosh darn tag. We gotta get a tag on Katy.
There is Wounded.
They just want to tell me how to be. They want to tell me how to live my life, you guys. I'm gonna get my own tag.
Says the first person to tag someone in this game. Anyways, thank you guys so much. I hope you all have a good night. We are going to... I'm pressing the wrong button on my Streamlabs because I'm professional. We're gonna go over and raid the super awesome Laugh Love Lindy specifically because they're playing Ravenloft, and y'all were talking about Strahd and all sorts of Strahd stuff earlier, and it got in my head. So now we're gonna go see some Strahd, guys. Thank you all. Have a good night. Heart your faces. We'll see you all later. Bye. Bye.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks so much.
Bye.